Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm excited to share a review of a truly unique book titled My Great Love for Jesus Led Me to Islam. Here's the book by Simon Alfredo Caraballo. As you can see, the book is thin. It's not a big book. Now I'll be giving you a broad overview on the book, and then I'll be sharing with you some of the highlights and quotes that I found interesting. The book is essentially a personal journey of the author, sharing how his profound love for Jesus led him to embrace Islam. At the beginning of the book, Caraballo takes us through his upbringing and his early life as a devout Christian, setting the stage for his spiritual quest. Throughout the book, Caraballo's approach is quite comparative. He juxtaposes the two religions in three main aspects. He compares the two divine scriptures, the Bible and the Quran, in terms of authenticity and the teachings of each. And then he compares the two prophets, Prophet Isa, Jesus alayhi salam, as he's viewed in the Bible, and Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam as he's viewed in the Quran. And then he dives into the key doctrinal differences, such as the concept of Trinity, the divinity of Jesus, the notion of the original sin and the autonomy, and contrasts these with the teachings of Islam on monotheism. One of the most compelling parts of the book is how Caraballo illustrates the influence of his great love for Jesus on his conversion to Islam, and how embracing Islam transformed his life and the life of those around him. And at the end of the book, you'll find some charts and tables comparing a lot of doctrinal views in each religion, as you can see. So all in all, the book is very concise, very straightforward, and I highly recommend reading it. It is rich with references, quotes, very good read. Now I'll be sharing with you some of the quotes that I found interesting in the book. Here is a quote related to the idea of monotheism and how the concept of Trinity actually was innovated later on. In Encyclopedia Americana, it states that monotheism began as a theological movement at a very early stage in history, and that it preceded the belief in Trinity by tens of years. It further states that Christianity was a product of Judaism, which was very strict as far as monotheism was concerned. The belief in the Trinity was only admitted in the 4th century and did not accurately reflect the original Christian belief in the true nature of God. Rather, the Trinity was a deviation from that original belief. The New Catholic Encyclopedia states the formulation one God in three persons was not solidly established by a council prior to the end of the 4th century. Among the apostolic fathers, there had been nothing even remotely approaching such a mentality or perspective. Another quote that has to do with a very common idea about Islam, that Islam is a religion of violence and the Quran is a book that encourages and advocates killing others and violence. Here are some interesting quotes also from the Bible. It says here in Ezekiel, the Lord said, "Go after him through the city and kill. Do not let your eye spare, nor have any pity. Utterly slay old and young men, maidens and little children and women." Also says here in 1 Samuel, "Now go attack Amalek and utterly destroy all that they have, and do not spare them, but kill both men and women, infant and nursing child, ox and sheep, camel and donkey." Right, now I personally don't believe that it is the true words of God, just for reference. Another quote that has to do with the punishment system in Islam, and it happened between the author himself and another person. He says, In a dialogue that I had with a US citizen, I cited a case where the death penalty was imposed in Saudi Arabia on 7 criminals who, while under the influence of alcohol, raped a woman. I told him that as a consequence of the application of the full weight of the law, hundreds of thousands of other women had been saved from other potential criminals. He disagreed and felt that the law was too severe and that it could not be implemented in his country. Based on official statistics, I told him that in his country, in the last 8 months, more than 500,000 women were raped, an average of 2,000 women raped every day. He was shocked and admitted to the effectiveness of the application of the Islamic law. So that is it, inshallah, for this book. I hope that was beneficial, and I'll see you, inshallah, next time. Assalamu alaikum.